Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and I am so glad you could join us, and I hope you're having a great morning already. A little crispy out there, but I'm okay with that, and I'll tell you why, Justin. You been walking your uncle's dog lately?
I just let it run.
You just let it run. But when it comes back in the house, do you have to wipe its paws? It's muddy paw weather. I had two dogs in my house yesterday, and they double teamed me. There's footprints all over the place. I did the best I could. Anyways, the ground was frozen today, and Brody went out there, and he was perfect when he came back in. Anyways, we can't complain about the weather, can we? It's been pretty halfway decent. It's cold this morning, but it's okay. And I guess we're going to have some pretty decent weather this coming week. And gosh, it was 62 the other day? I don't know what's going on. It's more like spring than winter, but I'm good with that. Okay, well, good morning wherever you are in the world. Good afternoon wherever you are in the world. Whoever and wherever you are watching us, we are glad you are with us. I want to say special good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. And Jason Sample, I know you're listening. Send me a new picture. We gotta get your picture in on our slide that comes in here. Me and Dennis are in there, but you're the boss man now, so we probably should get your picture too. So send me a picture and we'll get you on. If you are listening anywhere in the world, as I mentioned, we stream everywhere in the world. And I want to do a shout out to a number of folks today. First of all, to our friends in the Ukraine, Natalia and company. We've got a number of people that have been watching the show and have befriended me. You know what I always say every week, hang in there, and we have great thoughts for you. Oh man, but Turkey and Syria, gosh, I don't think we have too many viewers from there. We've had somebody from Turkey watch the show over the years, but boy, our hearts just go out to everybody over there. You know, I don't know, guys. It seems like every 3 or 4 weeks we're talking about some tragedy of some sort. I don't know what's going on, but we were talking about this at home the other day. How do you prepare for something like that? I mean, these are just things, you can't say, well, I shouldn't have done this or I shouldn't have done that or I could have done this better. nature happens, but wow, just, oh golly. I mean, when you think of the total number of people that have perished already, it's almost like the whole city of Jamestown. I mean, it's a lot of people. So anyways, keep those folks in your hearts, and I'm sure the Red Cross is probably looking to collect funds and to help them out as they have in the past. So keep your eyes open for that. Whew. Okay, well, busy weekend. We got Super Bowl coming up. Well, we all did our predictions, didn't we, guys? Anybody get the right team this year? I think most of us kind of thought maybe the Bills might have a chance. Well, we blew that one, didn't we? I didn't think we saw. Huh? Oh, thank you for that. Nothing new, you guys. You big old Bear fan, you. And I got the Dolphins back there, and was your dad a Viking guy? So I'm like, me and Jeff are the only Bills fans in the house, I think. Anyways, it's going to be fun. But the good news is we got the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to be in the bowl. And Nick Sirianni, who's a Jamestonian, and his whole family, football greats, as we found out last week from Randy Anderson, that they are in the Sports Hall of Fame, some of them. I guess we're going to root for them, in my house anyways. So have some fun and get family together and try not to yell too much at the TV or the referees. Anyways, looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. This is a live show, and if you have a comment, a question, something you want to share with us, like Linda Spalding does from time to time, or Mike from Portland, wherever you are, give us a call at 716-753-5225. And Randy's on the other line. He's waiting for your calls. If you want to talk to us directly, great, we'll talk to you. If not, he'll write down a message and he'll get it to me and be happy to share it. Why would you call? Well, you may have a fundraiser for your club or organization. And, it's kind of expensive to do public relations sometimes, or print posters or whatever. We do it for free and happy to do it, especially if you send it to me at chautauquasunrise@gmail.com ahead of time. We get your poster or whatever your announcement is, we'll pop it up. Sometimes they put it on the community bulletin board, which rolls throughout the week, or I announce it, and happy to do it. Okay? So please don't be shy. Give us a call if anything is happening in your club or organization, and if you just want to wish somebody happy birthday or that sort of thing. Okay? Let's see what else I have here. All right, we'll wait on that, did that. All right, so I have some announcements, and then we're going to get to my guest here in a little bit. All right, so this came across my desk the other day, and this is pretty darn cool. This is going to segue a little bit later on to the Chautauqua Chamber of Commerce, who's going to, Dan Heitzenrater is going to be here, but he's across the whole county, but this is from the Jamestown Community Chamber, and they salute their finest. So I want to read this list because I think it's pretty cool. So here we go. Each year, I'll get it out, the Jamestown Community Chamber of Commerce presents Salute to the Finest. It's an annual recognition of some of the local businesses, individuals, and organizations that make a difference in the community. This year, Salute to the Finest will be held February 27 with a wide variety of awards to be presented. Okay, you ready for this? Here they go. Business of the Year, new Business of the Year, Southern Sales Junk Removal. Restaurant of the Year, Tim Hortons of Jamestown and Olean. That's a double. Retailer of the Year, Everyday's True Value. The next one, this individual's been on the show a couple of times. Service to Humanity Award, Patrick Smeraldo. Good on you, Pat. Legacy Award, The Post Journal. Pride of Jamestown Award, Chuck D'Angelo. Business of the Year, DNS Glass Service. Congratulations. Jamestown Community Chamber Coordinator Carrie Swanson noted, our committee takes this job seriously and looks at the many people, businesses, and organizations that make up the fabric of our community. This year, all of these outstanding award selections bubbled to the top of the list because of their efforts to make Jamestown area a better place to live and work. And that's going to be today's theme, and we're going to be talking about the Chautauqua Chamber of Commerce, okay? Salute to the Finest will be held at the Northwest Arena over on 3rd Street that day, February 27th from 5 to 8. It's a Monday evening. The evening will include appetizers, a cash bar. It'll begin with a cocktail hour followed by award presentations at 6 p.m. Only $27 per person. And if you want to do advanced registration, you go to chautauquachamber.org. Pretty nice. The Salute to the Finest is proudly sponsored by the Elegant Edibles Catering and the Northwest Arena. Congratulations to all the recipients. Wow, pretty neat. Okay, from time to time I give various announcements regarding things to do over the weekend. I always say this, if you say there's nothing to do in Chautauqua County, you're living under a rock. Because there's always something to do in this county. You may have to travel a little bit, but there's something to do. So, today and tomorrow. No, wait a minute. What's today? Today's the 11th? Okay. It's already been going on, so today only, because this is the last day, fire and ice celebration from 5 to 9 each day at the Chautauqua Harbor Hotel down there in Celeron, a beautiful, beautiful hotel. Okay. This event benefits the Child Advocacy Program of Chautauqua County. I've worked with them over the years, and it's a good program. Over 200,000 pounds of ice will be meticulously, say that 10 times fast, carved into breathtaking ice sculptures, martini luges, and bars. There will also be fire pits, music, cocktails, and light hors d'oeuvres. The evening ends with fireworks. Individuals must be at least 21 years old to attend. Tickets are $30. For tickets, give a call at 489-2800. 489-2800. I'm not sure if that's something new, but it sounds pretty cool. Fire and Ice Celebration over at the Chautauqua Harbor Hotel today, 5 to 9. Today also, midwinter break cookie decorating from 2 to 3 at Music for Your Mouth over right down the street here in Mayville, 21 South, there is no East, Erie Street in Mayville. Decorate heart-shaped cookies for Valentine's Day and castle-shaped cookies in honor of the Mayville Winter Festival. As many of you know, it used to be the Ice Castle Festival. All ages are welcome. The cost is only $5 per person. Okay, so that's coming up, and you might want to contact them to make sure you can get in there, because I guess they're pretty busy. But that's going to be at Music for Your Mouth, 21 South Erie Street. Sounds like a lot of fun. And while we're at it, Valentine's Day weekend is this weekend, and Tuesday is Valentine's Day. So everybody's getting lovey-dovey and getting those candies out for their love. Their little Scrooge over there. It's not even Christmas. February 11th and 14th, A Man Called Otto showing at 7:30 p.m. at the 1891 Fredonia Opera House Performing Arts Center over at Church Street in Fredonia. If you've never been there, it is an outstanding venue. I had the great pleasure to perform there a number of years ago. We did a show there, and the sound is incredible, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful opera house. This film, based on the comical and moving Swedish novel A Man Called Ove, tells the story of Otto Andersson, played by Tom Hanks. Andersson is a grumpy widower whose only joy comes from criticizing and judging his exasperated neighbors. I think I've known a few Ottos over the years. When a lively young family moves in next door, he meets his match in a quick-witted and very pregnant Marisol, played by Mariana Trevino, leading to an unlikely friendship that turns his world upside down and proving that some families come from the most unexpected places. Tickets are $7 for adults, $6.50 for seniors, and the Opera House members, $5 only. Opera House members and students are $5, it looks like. Let me see if I read that right. No, $6.50 for seniors and Opera House members, $5 for students. You gotta look where the commas are here. Okay, if you want tickets, give them a call at 679-1891. 679-1891. That's a kind of a neat one. This is a kind of a cool one. Let's get that slide 15 up, Jeff. Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley Looks just like me in my young days. Okay, Saturday, April 29th. This one of those, mark your calendars, from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. If you're a Kiss fan, this is yours. Doors open at 6 p.m. This is going to be hosted by Ted Shred from Buffalo's 97 Rock. Opening act, the Jamestown Hot at Bats. Tickets are between $52 and $25, depends on where you're sitting. All right, so what's the deal? Ace Frehley is the original lead guitarist of the legendary rock band Kiss, where he co-founded it in 1973. And my cousin Cor over in the Netherlands is watching right now. Cor, you got to come back here. He was here this summer. You could meet Ace Frehley in person. He's gone to like 25 of their concerts. He's like the number 2 Kiss fan in the world. During his first tour with Kiss, the band soared to the unimaginable heights. They were truly the biggest band in the world. Their hard rock anthems and explosive live shows made them beloved by millions of music fans. After leaving Kiss in 1982, Frehley created his own solo band called Frehley's Comet. Frehley rejoined Kiss in 1996 for a highly successful reunion tour. He exited the band in 2002, but continued to release several solo albums. Kiss was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2014. Very cool, I might add. Frehley continues to create new music and tour extensively with his band. So that's coming up April 29th. Gonna be cool. I mean, he's really an awesome guitarist, and coming from where I sit in this world of guitar world, he's going to be outstanding. All right, moving on. This is now at the Reg Lene. Movies at the Reg. The Whale. Wednesday, February 15th this week, 7 p.m. and 8:57 p.m. Over at 3rd Street in Jamestown. $7 is for admission and $1 restoration fee per patron. Let's see. Sponsored by Western New York Urology Associates. Doors open at 6. This was nominated for 3 Academy Awards. Best Actor, Brendan Fraser, who I remember from The Mummy, all those great movies. For Best Supporting Actress was Hong Chow, and Best Makeup and hairstyling. They were nominated for all those awards. From Darren, Aronofsky comes The Whale, the story of a reclusive English teacher who attempts to reconnect with his estranged teenage daughter. Starring Brendan Fraser and based on the acclaimed play by Samuel D. Hunter. It's 117 minutes long. Let's see, if you want tickets, give them a call at 484-7070. 484-7070. Go to the box office Mondays and Fridays from 12 to 5 p.m., Wednesdays 12 to 8 p.m. And you can get tickets 1 hour before events. And then finally, probably the most important event that's going on this weekend is over at the Lakeshore Center for the Arts. Love Letters. We got that? Yeah. I have the unbelievable honor and pleasure to be working with Joan Caruso, who's just a fine, fine actress. Somehow or another, they asked me to play opposite her, and we did our first show last night. It was great. It was really fun. Now, Love Letters is really for a more mature audience. I'll say that much. It's a play about 2 people that exchange letters over a course of 50 years. And it's a very, very interesting and complicated love affair between these 2 people. We'll leave it there. It's very moving. It's very emotional. And it's going to be at 2 o'clock today, 2 o'clock tomorrow. So that'll be Saturday and Sunday. And then on Valentine's Day, of course, Love Letters, how appropriate, at 7 p.m. If you're not familiar with the Lakeshore Center for the Arts, all I tell people is go to the Patterson Library in Westfield and just walk across the street. You'll see the sign. You go up the stairs, and it's a great, great little venue. It holds about 45 people for the play. You feel like you're in off-Broadway. That's the best way I can tell you. Joan and I sit very close to the audience, so it's very up close and personal, and I think you'll enjoy it. I had the pleasure of having our own cameraman, Randy Burt. He filmed this during dress rehearsal the other day, and so we've got a lot of folks involved. Rick Mascaro, my good friend, who just shows up here and unannounced most of the time, is directing it, and he's just very creative and genius in his own right in putting together a play. So I encourage you. Tickets are $20. You can buy them at the door, or you can buy them online. So I know there's still some available seats, but don't wait. Okay? So again, today at 2, a matinee, tomorrow at 2, a matinee, and then Tuesday at 7 o'clock. All right? So, love letters, Lakeshore Center for the Arts. Now, we're going to take a little breather, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
At Intersections, it's not just about my moves. It's about yours, too. See Coop Guy?
Hey.
He has a green light, but before he can turn, he's got to wait for oncoming traffic to clear, and at the same time, make sure no one's in the crosswalk. And dog walking lady, when she's crossing, she should always check for turning traffic, even if she has the walk signal. There's a lot going on at Intersections, but when it all comes together, it's intersection perfection. See and be seen.
There you go. You know, recently I took my online defensive driving class. You might say, well, why did you do that? Because you save a bunch of money on your insurance. If you take it, complete it, send your certificate to the insurance company. They talked about that. And why I'm talking about this, I guess because of that little video. The most accidents are at intersections. I hadn't realized that because, you know, well, do I have the right of way? Do you have the right of way? And all that sort of thing. So just a piece of information. You take that class, I think you can save 10-15% on your insurance. They knock it off for 3 years. According to my engineer, he says more people should take that class. So I agree with you, Jeff. Okay, with no further ado, I want to welcome back, because he's been on the show a couple times over the years, Dan Heitzenrater, who's in a different role altogether from the last time I saw you. So Dan, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Doc. I am glad to be here. You mentioned off the top of the show, it's kind of a crispy morning, and I made the drive from Jamestown area up to Mayville for many years, and love this time of year when you get up by the Point Chautauqua golf course area. You look across the lake, see the county courthouse. There's nothing better. So
you know, and some days you get a little bit of a frost on whatever, and it's almost like one of those Norman Rockwell pictures, or when they take those real scenic photographs of a beautiful lake in the background and the beautiful, you know, buildings that we have, and the classic look of Chautauqua County. Great stuff. Dan, you've been here in 2 different roles. The last time you were here, you were Chautauqua Leadership, which you and I are both part of, but before that, you were working for the county as administrative assistant. Was that your title?
executive assistant. Yep.
Executive assistant, even higher. We were trying to remember, Vince Horgan?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I think the first time I had the opportunity to be on the show, I was working with Vince Horgan, and so prior to my role here with the Chamber now, that was, I guess, what you could call my career. Had the opportunity to work with Vince, and then made the transition with County Executive George Borello, and then also made the transition and worked with P.J. Wendell until the opportunity.
Oh, you worked with all 3 of them.
Yep,
I didn't realize it. All right, so I like to roll the tape back a little bit. So how do you just like become the executive administrative assistant? Is that what you said?
Executive assistant, yeah.
Forget the administrative, executive assistant. So where were you before all that? I mean, how do you get there? I mean, you just like, I apply for this thing, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so, I assume it could be different, certainly depending on the place and who the executive is and things, but the executive assistant at the county executive's office is an appointed position. So you serve at the pleasure of the executive. I always used to say, the county executive could wake up with indigestion and I'm out of a job. But
really?
a lot of and I mean, there's other department heads and things that are in that structure.
That's true. You're right. You don't have to take a test for it or anything like that. You just
right. The way I guess I found my way there, I had at that point, graduated college fairly recently, but
where'd you go?
I started at JCC and then went to Fredonia, so I'm a local guy all the way. And my focus had been, starting out, history education. And when I got to Fredonia, I got more interested in the political science end of things. So I had a poli-sci minor.
Perfect.
And also, actually back to high school with some local folks in the town of Gary, I started getting involved on our local, one of our local political committees. And, kind of the way that it started in some ways, I was at the meeting where Vince Horrigan was endorsed as the candidate for county executive at that time. So I went up to Vince after the meeting, shook his hand, introduced myself, said, hey, I just, got done with school. I've got this concentration, and if you need any volunteer help or anything, let me know. So he did call me. We worked together a little bit on the campaign, and obviously, I kind of look at that as, hey, this could be a job interview, right? For something in the future. So did my best, work that I could do there, and then that position actually before Vince had been phased out over time. And so Vince had started a while before he actually opened that position back up, when he realized, geez, the county executive's office, folks probably don't know, is really a really small staff. So he saw the need with the priorities he wanted to do and the different projects he wanted to take on, that he would need that extra person. And so he did, as you mentioned, I applied. It was opened up, and you had to submit your, resume, cover letter, all that stuff. And as they say, the rest is history.
So you're from Gary?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay,
Like I said,
so
local guy.
I know somebody may be watching, and I'm not going to mention who it is, but I had this conversation one day, and they said they were going to Jerry, and they're not from around here. And I said, don't ever say you're going to Jerry when you get to Jerry. I said, listen to me. It's Gary.
That's right. Yeah, named after, I think, like our second vice president, Elbridge Gary. So, yeah.
Yeah, we have the guys here from the rodeo every year. I just love talking about that. Usually somewhere in end of July. So Gary Rodeo and Gary. So great. It's funny you mentioned Vince Horrigan, because right here in this studio, I interviewed the candidates for that year. So I clearly remember Vince in giving his talk and getting very forceful. He was like that old Air Force guy. Rah!
Yeah.
And I was, whoa.
Yeah. Vince was a good, always brought, I think, like you said, very, very positive cheerleading, but very, direct. So
very direct. Well, good. So you served 3 different county executives. So then, how did you get to be part of the chamber?
Yeah, so you mentioned as well Chautauqua Leadership Network, which we both have participated in. I was in 2015 the best class ever, which of course is a running
up until
Chautauqua
then.
leadership joke.
I know the class, it was the best before that.
Yeah, that's right. So as I started my path, I guess you could say, and working in the county executive's office, obviously, again, I had always had an interest and developed a passion for public service and working in government, and also just a general passion and interest in our local area. Like, as you highlighted, born and raised in Gary and went to college locally. I always wanted to stay local, but anyway, working at the county executive's office, as I mentioned, you kind of long term never know what's going to happen, right? In that appointed position. So, I, in the back of my mind, had as I would encounter organizations and people throughout my work, you kind of file those places away, like, that might be a good place that would be a good fit for me and the work I like to do and being able to work with people. So I always, of course, had the opportunity to participate in Chamber of Commerce events and things in my role at the county, and admired the work that the chamber does, and sort of filed that away. And as we mentioned, I had actually worked at the county executive's office for a total of about 8 years by the time I was there with PJ, and the position for the president and CEO was put out, was advertised. So Todd Tranum, a lot of folks I'm sure know, was the president and CEO for a long time and had announced his retirement from the chamber. So obviously that interested me. I had no idea how much of a shot I might have, but I said, you know what, you have to go for it, and put your name in the hat, and went through that process, and ultimately was selected, which I'm very grateful for.
Wow. Let me ask you a question. You said you were born and raised in the county, went to school here, obviously through, was it Cassadaga School?
Cassadaga Valley.
And then you would have gone to JCC and then on to Vernonia. And you stay local, you like local, but yet you hear so many people say, I'm getting out of here. But, here's the but, here comes the but. I've been finding people are coming back. Is that true?
Yeah, we're seeing that, and I don't have any hard data on
Right.
that, right?
But I got this
like you said,
feeling
these
talking to people.
informal conversations, and I would say as well, we're not just seeing people come back, right? And the number one thing I think that you hear in those conversations is, we got to the point where we decided to start a family and realized Chautauqua County, where we grew up, is such a great place to live and raise a family, and they return, right? But we're also seeing people who are locating here now in the new age of work, where you can do a lot of jobs remotely. Obviously, the pandemic kind of proved that out.
Oh gosh, yes.
Maybe you don't even need a formal office with whatever company, right? You can just work right out of your home. Or, folks moving from out west, is one that has come up on our radar recently with, ourselves, Visitors Bureau, and others, where folks, who live out west, you highlighted some of the, challenges and weather events that people deal with across the world. That's one area that we're blessed locally here.
Of course, now we have earthquakes.
Well, that's true, yeah.
But it didn't affect us much.
Before that, it was just a lot of snow.
Yeah, right.
So.
That was kind of weird. But you're right. You're right. And, and I just talked to someone recently, and they kind of echoed what I always say. We don't have fire ants. We don't have mudslides. We don't have, hurricanes hardly at all. Maybe a tornado once in a blue moon. But it's not bad. And the cost of living, not bad when you compare it to a lot of the big cities. And as you said, when you're driving into Mayville or just throughout the county, holy cow. People always said to me, "Oh, how do you live down there?" I go, "I can't even answer that. I mean, you just got to come down here and experience it yourself. Just a whole different vibe, isn't it?"
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, so it's not my imagination. There are people that are coming back, and whether they retire to come back or they brought, as you say, their family. So, tell me about your family. Your whole family's here. As far as brothers, sisters, mother, dad, whatever. You were born like generational kind of a thing?
Yeah, sure. So my family, that I think is probably a big part of why I never really had that desire to, move and live out of the area. We have a very strong, tight-knit family growing up. And actually, thinking about it, most of our cousins even and aunts and uncles and everybody live throughout Chautauqua County. Yeah. So we are dotted all over, nice. The local map. Mm-hmm. But, have amazing, grandparents and parents and siblings.
I call that babysitters.
And now they are. So good transition to personal family. Yeah. So I have my wife Jessica and daughter Olive, who is turning 4 this year.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
So we do have that amazing babysitter support built in. Thank you, Mom and
but
Grandma.
That is huge in today's world, right? It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Child care.
Because when you wake up in the morning and when the kids are sick and the mom and dad look at each other and go like, "Oh, I've got 5 meetings. What do you got?" And right. It's like this tug of war and whose job is more important. But when you have that backup system where you can call somebody, huge.
Right.
Huge.
Right. It is.
Heitzenrater, is that German?
So I believe so.
I'm always curious about people's names because I always ask about that question.
I get asked frequently too. There's some other Heitzenraters in the area, I believe, and maybe up near Buffalo, Niagara Falls. But to my knowledge, no relation. I just know the only other kid in Little League whose name went from shoulder to shoulder was a Heitzenrater in South Dayton. So, but we're not related.
Of course not. But if you go back 15 generations, right. You probably are. Okay, so Chamber of Commerce has had, I think, not yours, but I think over the course of time, that the Chamber of Commerce evolved from other things like building trade organizations and guilds and things like that. Am I right on that? I mean, I think it's got a long history of mercantile and merchants working together.
Yeah, I mean, that really is the core of what a Chamber of Commerce is, right? So I sort of talk about it as a business organization. So it's membership driven, just like any other, collective organization. But very focused on how we can assist the business community. And that ranges. We have members in all sorts of industries and business sectors, a lot of manufacturers, a lot of healthcare, a lot of service industry, think insurance and things like that, attorneys, all the way down to what I kind of refer to as well as Main Street, right? So your local small retailers, your restaurants, et cetera. So we kind of have a broad representation, which I think is a great way to do it and to be able to connect together and, have the benefits that come along with, associating with others in your sort of business world.
We mentioned the Chautauqua Leadership Network, and it's networking, and there's a benefit to that, talking to each other. I'm a Rotarian. Same. Oh, you are too?
Yeah.
Which one are you in?
The Noon Club in Jamestown.
Smart. Not the morning.
Yeah.
They tried to get me to join the 7:30 in the morning Rotary Club years ago in Jamestown. I live in Ripley. I had to get up yesterday to get there. But anyways, I'm with the Westfield Mayville group. But what I'm saying is anytime you get people of a certain ilk, a certain mindset, there's good stuff that can come from that. So the Chamber sounds like it does the same. So what is the work of the Chamber? What do you do?
Yeah, so as I kind of touched on, all of what we do, we try to make sure we're serving the business community, right? That's who our sort of target audience is, that's who our members are, and that's who we're designed to support. So we have a wide range of services, which I'm sure in our conversation here we'll touch on. But,
yeah.
The one you kind of already mentioned as it relates to Chautauqua Leadership Network as well as networking. And I think to me, that is probably tied for the top, one or two things that we provide. Being able to network with other business leaders, and not just business leaders, but other organizations in the county. I know you talk to a lot of folks in a lot of different, nonprofit world and things. Those folks also participate in our activities, right? And those are great connections to be able to make, as you and your team are able to do when you're out in the community trying to help people get connected to resources, right? So, the last couple years, I've been at the Chamber now for about 18 months, started July of 2021. It's been a really good time, I feel, because we've been able to return to a lot of that in-person, networking opportunity, which is so critical to the value that we provide.
You mentioned the pandemic, and we just talked about this not too long ago. When the pandemic hit, they only allowed emergency services to be available and open. And we got an email from the studio here, Chuck Kelsey, and said, "You're closed down." And I sat there reading that. I'm going like, how can you close down the TV station? And then an hour later, we were opening it. Somebody realized our importance. And where I'm going with this is, I get your email announcements every week from the Chamber because I'm sharing information and I'm a news source. And during that whole time, I distinctly remember the work the Chamber did talking about how to get equipment, safety masks and hand solutions and sanitizers, and then availability to walk through and I'm not going to say this correctly, but you can help me, the funding that was available through emergency funding through the government. And they were having seminars, Zooming. So, the Chamber came, they were like, wham, they were there.
Yeah. So that was a little before my time with the Chamber, but of course I was at the county executive's office at the time, right? Yeah. So we were, we were in every day, like as you said, those folks who really had to manage some aspect of the pandemic. And I know the Chamber team did a fantastic job, as you mentioned. That actually kind of turned out to be the genesis of our Tuesday Talk series. We used to do some educational meetings over breakfast in person. Through the pandemic, we turned those to virtual, right on Zoom, and found that works for people, so we stick with that. But as you mentioned, throughout the pandemic, the business community, obviously, life as we know it has changed, right? But the business community was hit especially hard when, as you said, with your only notice was we have to tune into the governor's press conference today to see what the latest regulations are.
What can I do? What can't I do?
All of a sudden we're closed, right? Or we're limited. So the Chamber really, as you mentioned, tried to find that role to step into to be a conduit of information. So I know the team and Todd at the time were, again, watching every press conference, reading everything, working with other organizations like the Business Council to interpret those, but also to advocate for our businesses, right? If there were certain sectors that were critical to any piece of the economy and the infrastructure, advocating to let them find ways to be able to operate, produce their products that they needed to do. You look at restaurants, right? Hey,
Oh, yeah.
okay, if we can't dine in, let's let them be open and do takeout, right? It's supporting those restaurant owners, their employees, supporting the community. You still need those things to not feel the cabin fever, if you will. We really did a great job during that time advocating. And then on the other end of the pandemic, helping with the county and others to develop the template for businesses to be able to reopen and create safety plans that ultimately looked pretty similar to what the state implemented. So, we were critical in those efforts as well.
You mentioned your Zoom meetings on Tuesdays. Brilliant. And I'll tell you why it's brilliant, because I used to get dragged to Albany like everybody else did. It's at some level, depending on your role in life. And I used to say to the guys over there in Albany, why do you keep dragging us here, putting us in hotels, having us to eat in restaurants, be away from our families, when all I would have to do is flick on a TV and sit there and talk to you that way? And they just sort of stared at me. Well, then a few years later, all of a sudden, they're doing distance learning, distance conferencing, and now with Zoom, just a great way. I sit on a variety of boards still, and living in Ripley, and there's a meeting over on this side of the county, and it's a snowstorm, we still meet. So, as you said, there was some good that came out of the pandemic, and probably is helping businesses cut costs, I'm guessing. Okay, so I know you have something called the 2022 by the numbers. You want to go there?
Yeah, sure. And
Let's
I know.
bring that slide up, Jeff. And we'll just hold it up there and you talk to it, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually put this graphic out that folks are seeing right at the turn of the year here, December, January. And as I mentioned, coming out of the pandemic, we've seen a lot of great renewed energy, a lot of great participation that we wanted to highlight and get out to the community. So as you see there, to walk through the numbers real quick, our attendance at chamber functions was over 1,000 attendees throughout the year. And that does not include our community-wide events. So like you look at a Mayville Winter Festival that's about to happen, which is going to draw hundreds to thousands of people. There's not a great way to capture that attendance rate. So this is really...
But you could estimate like 500,000.
I like it. I like it. We'll update our form.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
I think we're good with that too.
Obviously in Washington, you can do that nowadays.
Yeah. But so that number really is obviously events like our legislative breakfast, maybe a salute to the finest, where we have a ticket component that we can capture that hard number and not be making up the statistics we want to use, as you mentioned. We also showed a net membership gain, and that's a challenge for any type of membership organization nowadays, I think, is to be on the trend going up versus going down. So we were very happy with that. We brought in over 100 new members on the year. Of course, lost a few as folks may retire or close or not be able to afford their membership. But overall, the net gain of 27 was really awesome. And
Okay,
nice
I want to come back to
reversal.
that in a little while, okay? I made note of that.
Our average daily website business directory referrals, that is a bit of a loaded number, showing over 4,000 referrals a day. And I maybe loaded isn't the right term, but the reason I say that is that captures a lot of the referral traffic on our website. It really captures everything. So let's say, for example, I'm searching restaurants in Mayville on the Chamber's website, which the public can do, and I would ask you actually, check out our website, check out our business directory. That's
I've been there,
a
by
great
the way, yeah.
Great, very
Yeah.
good. So if I search restaurants in Mayville, I'm obviously going to get a list that comes up with, let's say, 10 results. Those 10 results count as 10 referrals.
And those are 10 chamber members?
Right. Our directory is going to be chamber members,
All right, so
correct.
if you
It's
wa-
based
if you
on
wanna-
that data.
If you want to play, you got to be a member.
That's right.
Okay.
So then let's say I click on Music for Your Mouth, who you mentioned has an event coming up. That's going to count as, boom, another referral. And then let's say I'm really interested in their menu or something, so I click off to their Facebook page or their website. There's another referral. So that number that we're reporting there encompasses a lot, but I will also say that number, I think, shocks a lot of people, right? You
I'm trying to
can't
do the
imagine
math.
the traffic.
That's
yeah.
like in the millions
Right.
for a year. Wow.
So we also saw a lot of growth last year, as you see in our Facebook followers. We've really been putting a push on, ramping up our social media. As you know, that's some people, that's the only place to have a conversation with them these days. So we are making sure we get our information out and promote our businesses there.
I'm surprised by that, and this is no slam whatsoever because I use Facebook for all my endeavors. People say Facebook is dead, blah 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 blah. Not around here. Not in our communities. Right. I find that Facebook is a major communication line for people within a community.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that too?
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. And, I always try to look at, as we develop how we want to get our message out there, right, and advise our businesses, what is the consumer habit, right? And, we're all unique, so I don't know if I'm exactly a good case study, but even as a search engine, I find myself a lot of times, if I want to find out what's the special today at Music for Your Mouth, or what are their hours, if we stay on that example, I'm going to go to Facebook and search their page there. I'm not going to Google, right? So it's important, like you said, even though the larger narrative is, you need to be on Instagram, or you need to be on, Snapchat's old now, or whatever, but, TikTok, that's right, that's the one I was searching for.
So what is your Facebook name? How do you get there?
Sure. So we actually have, and I should have talked about this right off the top. So we have probably 7 or 8 different Facebook pages, technically, because as far as Chautauqua County goes, we are one corporate chamber entity. So we are the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce, but we have 6 community chambers. Being, as you mentioned, Salute to the Finest with Jamestown, right? That is under our umbrella, but we have a dedicated volunteer and staff support presence in these communities that over time, they used to have independent chambers, let's say 30 years ago. But again, that benefit of coming together and sharing resources, et cetera, and that sort of being a part of something bigger, we've consolidated. So I always start at the north end and work my way down. We have the Hanover Silver Creek Community Chamber, Dunkirk Community Chamber, Fredonia Community Chamber, Westfield Barcelona Community Chamber, Mayville Chautauqua Community Chamber, and Jamestown Community Chamber of Commerce, who are all part of us, right? So any of those members, if you're a chamber member in Chautauqua County, you're a member of the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce. But depending on your locality, you might be flagged as one of those folks.
Okay, so you were like the umbrella, and then you have these organizations that work with you and I'm assuming when you have this, you have a lot of sharing of information and stuff.
Right, absolutely, yeah. So that's a great way to look at it, kind of like an umbrella. And so to answer your question about the Facebook name,
yes,
folks can find us online at Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce. And then they can also find any of those community pages by searching those names I mentioned. So, for example, Hanover Community Chamber or Mayville Chautauqua Community Chamber. So you can look us up there. We try to share stuff, obviously, from the community pages on the countywide page all the time as well. So that's probably a great place to catch that and see a lot of that news.
Okay. Beautiful. So let's keep on going on your little chart here.
Sure. Yeah. So the next one is ribbon cuttings, and we've been very excited over the past year. We've been fine-tuning our ribbon cutting service. We did 35 of those last year, which I think is really positive news, right? We always hear the negative of how many businesses are closing. Well, we also have a lot of businesses opening in Chautauqua County. So for ribbon cuttings, we like to, basically be a megaphone for the business. You see the pictures with the big scissors.
Yep.
We love to get out the big scissors and cut the ribbons. So if anybody ever knows of a new business that we should reach out to, or you are a business owner starting a new business, please call us. Folks do not have to be a member for us to help with a ribbon cutting, so we'll help anybody with that. And like I said, we love to do it. We've started live streaming those on the Facebook pages to tie it back to that. It's I never promise, technology's finicky and it's just a cell phone on a tripod, but it's another way we can get that message out.
All right.
The next stat there that we have is a 28% increase in the participating Shop Local CHQ gift card merchants, which is probably another topic we should hit on a little bit. But so folks are familiar with the old Chautauqua gift cards, and they used to be a gift check. We changed that to, as you see, the gift card. So that's a great picture we used actually in some of our holiday advertising. It shows what the gift card looks like now. And that increase in gift card merchants, we have more than we've ever had that take the gift card. So
Okay,
there's,
for those that are listening on the radio, there are 165 merchants.
that's right, 100. Well, actually, I think it's 168 now.
Oh,
So
it's
we've
gone
grown
up.
even more since we ran that ad. But that's a great program because all of those local businesses can tap into that funding. So it's a great example for if I want to give you, Doc, a gift card for Christmas. Instead of buying maybe that Amazon or Walmart gift card, I can buy a Shop Local CHQ gift card, which means that money is going to stay in Chautauqua County and benefit a local business. But as the ultimate recipient, you have choice of how you want to spend that money, right? So you could spend it at any of 168 places.
Wonderful. And real quick, if you have an old one, people aren't taking those, but you can take them to your offices and get a new one.
That's right. I'm glad you mentioned that. So the gift cards have an expiration date on them because you can use them in some online platforms as well. And of course, you need to put in the expiration, the card verification code. So our first purchase of gift cards have started to expire. They are the old design. You saw the new design, which is the clean white there. The old cards had a picture of a family. So the plastic has expired, but the funds do not expire. So if anybody out there has one of those old cards, all you have to do, call the Chamber of Commerce, get in touch with us. Our number is 716-484-1101, and we will be happy to exchange that for you. We do need you to stop in, or we're always willing to run out, whatever it is, because we have to get the old card, transfer it over, get it back to you, and then you're good to go.
Super. We have a phone call, and I can hear a dog barking in my
Awesome.
ear, so it must be Linda Spalding.
Good morning,
Good
Doc.
morning.
Dan. How are you
Linda.
this morning?
We're great, thanks.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
You sound very
I
chipper
wanted
today.
Doc, I wanted to say,
Yes.
that place sounds like a lot of fun that's going on in Westfield.
You got to come over. It's great. It's-
Okay, yeah. Oh, you're doing great things with that Center for the Arts. Just great things.
it's
It's a
wonderful.
wonderful place.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So what's going
Well-
on?
Pardon?
What's new?
Oh, well, what's new? Well, I have a question. Are these, and I think it's great to have those gift cards to shop locally. I buy everything locally. I don't buy anything online.
Wow.
Awesome.
I want to keep the local businesses going.
All right.
And I go to the local hardware, the local everything.
I
Local.
tried my best.
Yeah. I do everything local.
All right.
People, if they don't shop local, they're going to be sorry.
Yeah.
Because they're going to lose the convenience that you have with your local merchants.
Well, people used to say, I'm going to go 20 miles down the road because whatever is 2 cents cheaper per unit or whatever it is. I'm trying to be broad-based there. And I look at them and go, you just use that savings up in gasoline. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And the local merchants give much better service.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Much better.
Something breaks or whatever, they're there to help you out or whatever.
I'm all for the small businesses. And I think I also heard in the news, I don't want to hold you up, that New York State has the highest amount of small businesses.
Oh, I don't.
I'm not sure.
Could be.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
think
surprised, yeah.
I think I heard that, yeah. I wanted to ask you a question. Are they still offering that entrepreneur training through JCC?
Yes, so the Small Business Development Center has a course, and I feel bad for my friends at SBDC because I'm not probably using the right name, but it's called, I think, like Entrepreneurship Essentials, something like that. So folks could find that by navigating to their website, sbdcjcc.org or .com. Again, sorry, yeah. But and actually, chamber members are offered a discount on that of $50. So if folks want to look that up and register, and that's a great course that teaches basics of entrepreneurship, but also the Small Business Development Center. If folks don't know about them, they have a a great team of small business advisors, and their services are free and confidential. So we always tell folks, if they reach out to us with a business idea or a question about starting a business, we send them to SBDC, and then we say, hey, when you're ready for that ribbon cutting, or our services, which really help to grow and sustain you
The
once
next
you're
step.
established,
Yep.
call us at that point.
Super. There you go.
Oh, that's great. Now, do they still have the mentors? They used to have mentors years ago that would work one-on-one with volunteers, with the new, with the people who wanted to start up their business.
Yeah, I think it may be the same thing, Linda, that they have their business advisors. So I know they're a paid staff. They're not volunteers, but that is what they do. So any entrepreneur, and it doesn't have to be an entrepreneur with a business idea. If you have an existing business, they're a great resource to help you. If you have plans to grow or plans to look at a different product or industry, or plans to transition your business. A lot of folks that might be looking to retire or sell their business don't know where to turn or how to do that analysis. SBDC is a great place to check out.
Super.
It is great. And I wanted to mention years ago, I think it was in the 90s, Richie Alexander started that in Chautauqua County, the entrepreneur training, and I was doing it. I was helping with that.
Oh.
And it was a great thing for people to get them going and become self-sufficient.
Yep. Okay, excellent. Well,
you have a wonderful weekend. Happy Valentine's
same
Day.
to you, and come out to the play. We'll look forward to seeing you there. So.
Thank you.
All right, Linda.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. All right. Well, let's jump around a little bit.
Sure.
So, someone listening right now might say, well, I'm a two-person operation or whatever. So, who qualifies to be a chamber member? I mean, let's go there.
Yeah. So it's wide open. Really any business or organization. We have members who, again, are maybe a nonprofit. And we actually have over 900 members now, as I mentioned, with that gain last year. We're over 900 members across Chautauqua County of all sizes, right? So a lot of our services are really geared, the direct services of driving foot traffic, the gift card program, as I mentioned, it's kind of that Main Street style business, the smallest business, which frankly probably needs those services and those programs the most. But we go all the way up to, as I mentioned, retailers, big box, right? Corporations,
Sure.
manufacturers.
Yeah.
But the reason why anybody might want to join the chamber, even if they say, well, I can't really take the gift card, right? There's been studies done by the Association for Chamber of Commerce Executives just about the benefits of being associated with a chamber in the first place. And when I saw these numbers, even in the chamber world, I was really shocked. Because it's interesting, one to throw out there is if a consumer knows that a business is a chamber member versus that they're not, they have a 49% increase in consumer favorability. So
because that sticker's on their door.
Right. It instills confidence in the business. It's kind of like a Better Business Bureau idea as well, right? So I know this is a reputable business. I know they support their community by being a member of the chamber, as we mentioned, that sense of community and networking. And there's, of course, other statistics as well. One to mention being 68% in that local reputation, I think speaking to that same line of thinking. But also there's an 80% increase in consumer likelihood to patronize that business in the future over non-members. So if they're searching for something again and they see that chamber member note, or if they're on our website on the directory and they find somebody they know as a member, they have a level of trust in them.
I know it seems hard to believe, but we got like a minute and 30 seconds left.
Sure.
So tell people where you are, how to get a hold of you, and anything else you want to share.
Absolutely. So we have two offices in Chautauqua County. We have our main office at 300 North Main Street, Jamestown. That is the corner of 3rd and Main. We're open Monday through Friday, typically, right from 8 o'clock to 4:30. Always happy to have folks stop in. We actually operate as a visitor center there as well, so check us out if you need area information. Our second office is at the North County Training Center, JCC, in Dunkirk, right there on Route 60. We're by appointment only there, so you can call our number, 716-484-1101, and you'll get the list of extensions. Pick the most appropriate extension, or any of us. We're all really helpful. And other than that, I'd just like to give a shout out to our team. We have a great team. There's 8 of us total working across Chautauqua County, 4 full-time, 4 part-time. But the best way, I think, to find out about the chamber is to reach out, have a conversation, and we love to talk to people.
Last soundbite. What's the number one reason why you should be a chamber member?
I think, again, that sense of community, supporting your community, the other business owners, but also take advantage of our products so that you can, again, grow your own business and become more sustainable and successful.
Dan, thanks for joining us today. I hope, folks, that you've been watching and you got a little bit of an idea of the importance of the chamber and what it does for our county, our economy, and for all the people that are in the work field. So have a great Valentine's Day. Dan, thanks for joining us, and come back again sometime, okay?
Thanks, Doc.
I'm Doc Hamels, and you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and we're going to do this again next Saturday morning as long as all goes well. And happy Valentine's Day. Take care now. Bye-bye.